Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be canning up the tomato sauce you saw us make the other day in the video. You hang around till after the break. We'll show you how we get it done.
Check it out.
Alright guys, today we're going to be showing you how we can up that tomato sauce you saw us making the other day. We had boiled down 5 pots of the sauce and I got them all down to a single pot, and now it's time to get them in the cans. But if you don't mind, we got to talk here for just a few seconds. We got a couple of announcements. The first is that you may notice a little bit of rebranding on the channel and on the Facebook page. We have always run as BumbleBee Junction as 3 words. And the incorrect spelling of Bumblebee makes it harder for people to search for us. It's actually all one word. So we're going to be rebranding. We're going to cut it back to Bumblebee Junction as 2 words. And that'll make things easier for people to find us. And it's not a great big change. And we're going to leave the B's capitalized in the logos. So really it shouldn't make anything much different. So guys, we're just gonna switch that back to a 2-word logo, and we've already started working on changing some of the things. You'll notice like the thumbnails and stuff have already been adapted. So not a huge change, you may not have even noticed, but we wanted to let you know about it in case you're searching for us. We are now Bumblebee Junction, 2 words. But the second one is I want to take a few seconds and I want to say thank you to a friend of ours. Guys, we had a really great video came out this morning from our friend David Pearson over at Fun in the Woods. And a few of you are probably watching this video as your first video here on our channel and were sent here by him. But guys, we really appreciate Dave. Dave's been a great friend of the channel ever since the beginning. In fact, he was around before the beginning. I used to watch his channel, great big fan, and he said, hey, you know, why don't you grab you don't need a big fancy camera or anything, grab your cell phone and start making some videos. So I've got to say he was an absolute influence on the channel. He is also our very first subscriber. I don't have any subscribers older than him. He was right there and encouraged us to do it, and he has supported the channel all along. Now, if you don't know who Dave is, I want you guys to go check him out, and I'll mention him again here at the end of the video. But it's Dave Pearson, and he's over at Fun in the Woods. But he's got a great channel, does a lot of fun bushcrafting. He's a great father. He's got a son named Nick. Nick does a lot of his camera work and stuff for him. But you guys like a good family channel, some good family fun, you know, a father and son out in the woods getting some stuff done and having some priceless family bonding time. I want you guys, please just go check him out. But guys, we have got to get to this tomato footage. This video is going to be long enough as it is. So we're going to get in the kitchen. We're going to can up some tomato sauce. Got a few tips and tricks along the way, like how to get a oven roasted flavor out of your tomatoes while you're canning them. But we'll get into this footage. I'll throw some notes up on the footage if you wanted some tips and tricks along the way. And let's just check it out, see how you get that stuff canned. Alright guys, we're into the second day on this sauce, and we're going to start the second part of the video, which is going to be canning the sauce up. As you can see, it's holding when you stir it. You can still see your stir marks in the surface of it. That's something you're looking for to know your sauce is done. We're getting our can lids ready over here. We've made a horrible mess running through it with the immersion blender and stuff, getting it all nice and smooth. We don't want to make crushed tomatoes. We want to make actually tomato sauce. So we're going to, we've gone ahead and blended it up really good. We're going to throw some seasoning to it, cook it a little bit. But when it comes to the canning, I'm going to bring you over here. We'll have Tina show us something here. When it comes to canning tomato sauce, there are 2 schools of thought. You can water bath can your tomato sauce for how long, T?
35 minutes.
35 minutes?
For a pint and 40 minutes for a quart.
35 minutes for a pint and 40 minutes for a quart. That's water bath canning. Now just a few pages away, same recipe is for pressure canning. And what do they got for that time-wise?
Both pint and quart jars for 15 minutes.
Both pint and quart jars for 15 minutes. Now guys, there is a difference between water bath.
That is a ball book.
That's the ball book, Tina says. But guys, there is one difference between water bath canning and pressure canning, and that is the temperatures that are achieved. Under pressure, water can achieve higher than boiling temperature. So in a water bath canner, 212 is the maximum degree. But in a pressure canner, we're going to exceed upwards 240 and on up according to the pressure. And here in this area, we pressure can with 15 pounds of pressure. So we can achieve temperatures well above 240 degrees. That's what we're going to do with our sauce. We're going to pressure can it because at 240 degrees, some of the sugars and stuff that are in the tomatoes will begin to caramelize, and you'll get a different flavor, like that roasted tomato flavor. So guys, we're going to go ahead and pressure can ours. That'll change the flavor just a little bit different than water bath canning, but we're still going to use the lemon juice. Tina's got that here. She is once again sporting her high cool slippers. But guys, we're going to get to seasoning this up. We'll cook it a little bit, and then we'll bring you back to show you part of the canning process. Alright guys, bring you back in here. We've got our spices added, and we moved over here to the other side of the stove where we can put our pressure canner over here. But we know that our pressure canner can hold 7 quarts. But what we're going to do is we have a dozen quarts we're going to do, and then we're going to do some pints. So we're going to run 6 quarts and 1 pint in each load of the first 2 loads, and then we'll just do the rest in pints to see how much we have to do. So when you're not exactly sure, it's better to save the small jars for the end. So we'll run 6 and 1, 6 and 1, and then we'll see what we got left over. But we're going to need to be adding lemon juice. So in each jar, the quarts take 2 tablespoons and the pints take 1 tablespoon. We need to help raise the acidity on the tomato sauce, so we're just going to, or lower the acidity, I guess would be the word. But we're going to add 1 tablespoon to the pint and 2 to the quarts, and then we'll fill them up with to 1-inch headspace. We'll go over all that here in a second when we get to canning, but it's 1 inch of headspace, and then we'll be moving them into the pressure canner. Alright, first thing we're going to do is have Tina run through her supply list again. She's been putting things together. Now we got lids, rings, jars. What else we got here?
Thingy bobber.
The thingy bobber.
Doohickey.
The doohickey.
Whatchamacallit.
And the whatchamacallit. Alright guys, we are ready to can. So we'll go ahead. She's going to show us a quart first, and then probably a pint. But we're going to go ahead. We don't want the bottom of the jar to get cold from the juice, so we add it right before we can. We'll go 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then she'll just fill it directly before that jar can get too cold. So we want to fill them up to we'll get a good stir on that. Yeah. We want to fill them up to a 1 inch of headspace. And guys, when you're pressure canning, you don't have to have the jars completely sterile. They just need to be clean. Doesn't hurt to use sterile jars though. So we pulled these out of we've got them here down here in the oven keeping warm, but we'll go ahead and you don't have to have them completely sterile for the pressure canner, or if you're going to be water bath canning for more than 10 minutes. That's something we learned recently. We thought, we've been canning for many years, but you learn something all the time. So we go up to 1 inch of headspace. That's about the bottom of that big ring around the bottom of where you put your lid. Go ahead and wipe the rim. Now we've got a little bit of water and a little bit of vinegar on there to keep the rims clean and remove any oils from the rim. And then we got our ring set up back here in the pan. Slip back here on the back of the stove. You guys have seen her bank face those lids back and forth, one each way, so they don't stick together. Got a ring on it. Put it finger tight. And then we're going to do basically the same thing for a pint, except it's going to be just 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Guys, when you set your pressure canner up, and we'll skip away here, you set your pressure canner up, you put a certain amount of water in it. For ours, it happens to be just over the bottom plate, or about 3 quarts. And we just can using a simple, what they call a weighted gauge canner. It's done us fine for many years, so we haven't gotten into the more expensive canners. We've always gotten by with just a weighted gauge. I believe it's a Miro.
Yeah.
But boy, that poor canner has seen its days. But we have another brand new one in the cabinet. We keep another one around, but we're going to use that one until she gives up the ghost. So, alright, we're going to wipe the rim. We'll get a lid and a ring on this one. And guys, that'll be our, I'll get you in there and show that to you real quick. It is beautiful looking tomato sauce.
Yeah, it smells really good too.
Smells good too. But guys, that's what we're going to be working with. We're going to follow this canning all the way through. We're going to do, like I said, 6 quarts and a pint. 6 quarts and a pint. And then all pints after that. We can double stack pints in here at the end if we need to use up the rest of the sauce. But Tina's just going to keep right on rolling here. And we'll get these pressure canned. We'll bring you back when we got something different to show you. Alright guys, we've got this canner loaded here. And one piece of advice, if you mix your cans like this, then you just can according to the larger size. So it won't hurt that little small one down in there. But you just can according to the larger size so that everything, everything gets done. So used about half of our sauce, guys. Try to remember this was 5 cans of, or 5 big pots of sauce, all condensed down into one by boiling. So it took all night. But that represents a lot of work and a lot of hours picking tomatoes and cleaning them and freezing them. So might not look like much when we get done. It'll just be some jars of sauce. But guys, there's a lot of love mixed in there. So we're going to go ahead, we'll get this closed up. We'll put a lid on it. We'll bring it up to temperature. We'll crank the burner up on high. That'll cause a steam vent in the middle of the lid. We'll let that vent for about 10 minutes. Then we'll put our weighted gauge on there. We'll wait for the weighted gauge to dance. And then we're going to process these for, what would you say, 15 minutes?
Yep, 15 minutes. 15
minutes. And then we'll shut them off, let them start to cool down, and then we'll come back and we'll show you taking them out of here. Alright guys, we've got a pretty good jet of steam coming out of here. It's hard to show it, but we're going to go ahead and get our weighted gauge put on there. Just trying to show you the steam. But we'll go ahead and get our weighted gauge on there. For our altitude, we use 15 pounds of pressure. We're going to go ahead and wait for that to start dancing around. Then we'll start a 15-minute timer, and we'll just let it go from there. So guys, we'll bring you back when we get a little bit closer. But you let that vent for about 10 minutes. That removes the oxygen from the inside of the canner, and it really helps cut down on siphoning, which is where your jars lose their liquid. So let that go ahead and come on up to temperature, and we'll bring you guys back here in a little bit. Alright guys, we've been hissing and dancing for about 15 minutes. It's time to go ahead and get that burner back here shut off. Then we'll go ahead and let it calm all the way down and cool. That button there will drop when the canner is cool and doesn't have any pressure. Then we'll release the weighted gauge, and we'll go ahead and get it opened up. But it needs to cool all the way down to where that button drops, and we can release that gauge. So guys, we'll bring you back. We'll let this thing cool down, and we'll show you what happens next. Alright guys, the canner is cooled all the way down. The button is down. So we remove the weight. And we're going to crack the lid on the canner. We're not going to open it all the way up. We're just going to crack the lid. And if you can see it sitting up on top of the rim. We'll crack it like that. We'll leave it for 10 minutes. And we'll let that canner cool down a little bit. That's another trick you guys can do. That'll stop the siphoning. A lot of times if you pop that lid open right away, that cold air will rush down in there. And then you'll see your jars start to boil out. But they weren't boiling out before you opened the lid. So just crack the lid like this, let it come on down a little bit more, and then when you take the lid off, that'll help cut down on your siphoning too. Alright guys, we're coming down on our 10-minute timer. You'll probably hear it ding here in the background in about 8 seconds. But we're getting ready to take this lid off, and we'll just take it off real easy. You can go ahead,
There.
I don't think 8 seconds was going to matter.
No.
We'll get us a look down in there. Those jars are super, super hot. Tina's got her little jobbers here, can jobbers. So we're going to go ahead and get these out. We'll take them over to the table. Take a slide in here and get you a look at them. They're looking good. So we'll roll over here to the table. We'll take a look. Lighting's not the best over here, but that's some good looking sauce, guys. probably what we're going to do is go ahead and we'll get the rest of these canned up. The second load is going to be the same as the first. It'll be 6 quarts and a pint. So when we get done with the second load, we'll have 12 quarts, 2 pints. And then we're not sure how much sauce we'll have left, so we're just going to do the rest of it all in pints. We like the quarts for big meals, but the pints are great if you're making like a chicken cacciatore or something and you just need a little bit of sauce. So we do some quarts and some pints. It all works out great. So some good looking sauce, guys. We're glad to have it. We'll bring you back and show you what the final total is here in a little bit. Alright guys, we're on the last batch here. These guys have been cooling for their 5 minutes. Tina just took the lid off. We got 4 pints and a half pint. That was a very small batch for us, but that also represents the end of the canning for the day. So we're gonna have Tina get these out for us. We'll follow her over here to the table. But guys, this is going to be about our final yield. We got 12 quart jars. We will have 5 pint jars and 1 half pint. So to get you down here, you can see that wonderful color on those guys. They look great. We're real happy with them. We'll be glad to have these. But that represents a whole bunch of work and a whole bunch of tomatoes. So all those pots of tomato sauce boiled down to 1 pot, and it all comes down to this. So guys, there it is. We're like I said, we're real happy that you came along. We hope you learned something, and we'll be back in a minute to talk to you. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Not a huge yield. We got taking it down from 5 pots to 1. It's really dense, it's really flavorful, and it's a great sauce, but you gotta grow a lot of tomatoes, put a lot of work in, put a lot of hours in canning it. And guys, we know that tomato sauce, you can buy it at the store for $1, but you can't buy this at the store for the $1. And that is what we really like about it. We like knowing where our food came from. Not everything has to be cost effective. Some things we do just because that's the way we want them done. But we haven't had a chance yet. We know on the last video people wanted to see the tomato press in action. Guys, we're going to be making that video. Tina picked tomatoes today, so we're going to put together a video on how that tomato press works, and we're going to show it running and show you how it handles tomatoes. But we still need a few minutes to get that done. So look for that in the upcoming videos. If you guys are here for the first time, I want to say thank you. We really appreciate you guys coming out here to the channel. We hope everybody will hit that thumbs up button and leave us a comment down below. Those interactions tell YouTube to show our videos to more people. That's always a help to the channel here. That's one way you guys can help us. But if you like the content here on the channel and this is your first time here, we hope you'll subscribe. And down next to that subscribe button is a bell. If you'll hit that bell, that'll send you a notification whenever we release a new video. Guys, that's a great way to keep up with the channel too. But we're gonna go ahead and slide out of here. I'm not gonna wrap this up without one more good word about our friend Dave Pearson down there at Fun in the Woods. Guys, he's a fantastic guy. If you haven't checked him out by now, please do. I'm gonna tell you there are 2 channels that we owe every video and stuff to. The first is Dave Pearson at Fun in the Woods for helping us get this channel up and running. And then, if you don't know, we made simple slideshows and stuff at first, and there was another channel that, along with Dave, the 2 of them together pressured us to get on camera and start making the videos this way. But the one that really put the boots to us was Keeping It Dutch. We'll say a good word for him, and hope you guys will check him out too. But if you get a chance, please check out Dave Pearson over there at Fun in the Woods. And I know a lot of you guys came over from Dutch and know who he is anyway. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, guys. That's our tomato sauce for the year, or not for the year. We got a little bit more, but that's probably the last we're going to film of it for this year, other than we'll show you how that tomato press works. So, guys, we're going to get out of here. We hope you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you in the next one.